This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So I have been making videos since 2016, I think was when I started actually regularly making videos. And I think that it's high time that I finally make a video about making videos. So essentially this is going to be my general overview of everything. My office setup, the equipment and software I use, the tools I use, my tips and tricks. Every interesting thing I think I can quickly shove into this video before it gets super duper long, because I could really talk about this topic for a very long time. For more specific tutorials, more in-depth videos on how I do specific things, that's kind of the type of thing that I do over on Patreon. So I recently just uploaded a video on how I edit videos, how I color grade. That was a really in-depth 23-minute tutorial on that. Before we jump into this video, I just wanted to give a really quick disclaimer. I'm going to speak about the creative process. I'm going to show you my office and stuff, but I'm also going to be showing you a lot of camera equipment and gear today. And I just wanted to say that you do not need expensive camera equipment to make a YouTube channel. Please keep in mind that with all of this stuff I'm about to show you, this is the equipment that I've been collecting over the past 7 years. This is my job now, and so I've made the active choice to invest in the equipment that I use to make the things that I make. I will also say that basically everything I bought here was on sale. Everything from my tablet to this camera. That's like my first tip of the video, but I do just want to say, if you're starting out with video making, do not feel like you need all this stuff. So with that disclaimer out the way, let's jump straight into the video. Welcome to my workspace where I make everything. Edit all my videos and I do all my writing, and I spend most of my life sitting at this desk. This is a standing desk from Officeworks. I just press a button and it goes up to this height that I've set. Standing desk. Don't look at the cable management. I haven't done it yet. I need to fix it. This is the first time that I have had dual monitors since I started my channel. Basically back in 2016. I was living in a share house and my desk was a 6-foot bifold table in this room, and I had 2 monitors. But now I finally have a big desk and voila, I have a second monitor. So my desk setup is something that gets commented on all the time. A lot of people find it interesting that I have a proper PC. I have a noisy mechanical keyboard that's a little bit obnoxious. My PC, which is down here, is it's like a gaming PC, right? But I don't just use it for games. It's a powerful computer that my partner built for me. It has like 32 gig of RAM and a really powerful processor, and so I can essentially render a 20-minute video in like 3 minutes. That might not mean anything to you if you've never rendered a video before, but trust me, that's very fast and very convenient. I love this computer to death. My feet are actually currently sitting on a cardboard box to make this the proper like ergonomic level. I kind of feel like I am a child at the hairdressers. I will work an 8 or 9 hour day sitting in this chair, finish work, and then start playing Final Fantasy, and all of a sudden I've spent like 13 hours sitting in the same spot. So it's very important that it's comfortable, that like I sit properly, I have good posture, and that everything works for me. So I love this computer, I love this space, I'm very grateful. This is an absolutely wonderful time to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is a website builder which allows people to create interesting and fun websites with ease. My website was made through Squarespace and I absolutely love it to bits. Squarespace has so many benefits. It's affordable, it has tons of fabulous templates to choose from, and its UI is incredibly easy to follow and use. From powerful blogging tools to in-depth analytics, Squarespace is such a good platform for showing off your creative work and for connecting with the people who are interested in what you make. If you're looking to make a website, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ChristyAnnJones to save 10% off your purchase of a website or domain. It's really hard making videos and having to just stare at your own face for like 5 hours. It's like if you didn't have bad self-esteem before, you will afterwards. And if you had bad self-esteem before, Moving on to filming and how I actually capture these visuals. I use a camera Thanks, Christy. I use the Canon M6 Mark II, which is a mirrorless DSLR. Doesn't have the big, huge, bulky body of a traditional DSLR camera. And the two lenses I use are Sigma lenses. Sigma 30mm lens. I also use the Sigma wide angle lens. I think it's a 16mm. That's what this is currently filming off of. These lenses are beautiful quality and they're really affordable and I like them very, very much. This lens is so versatile. I'm only sitting about 1 meter away from the camera. But if I was filming with this lens, I'd have to sit about 2 meters away. And if I were filming with a 50mm lens, I'd have to sit roughly 3 meters away from the camera, and then I wouldn't be able to use a microphone attached to the camera. That's something that I had to put a lot of thought into with this camera in this apartment because there's not very much space. One of my favorite things about these lenses though is the fact that they have such a small depth of field. So depth of field is basically the area that is in focus. How do I explain this? Sort of like when you think of depth and physical space, right? It's the spot that's in focus. So see how my hand is out of focus? It's not in the depth of field. That plant behind me is not in the depth of field because it's a little bit blurry, right? If I put my hand up here, this is now in the depth of field. The depth of field is most affected by something called the f-stop. This is also known as the aperture. So it's sort of like the pupil of the camera, the hole that gets bigger and smaller to let in more or less light depending on the conditions and the technique you want to use. Essentially, if you have a really, really low f-stop, you can get this really lovely blurry background. This is quite remarkable on such a wide angle lens, right? This is one of the reasons why I picked this lens because it's so wide angled. The depth of field is really small, the f-stop's really low. If you use a 30mm lens, it's better for more up close filming. I use this more for like detail shots. Every now and then I'll use this to film a talking video, but it's just sort of the angles are a little bit more challenging in this apartment with like how much space I have to work with basically. However, one of the logistical problems of these lenses, because the f-stops / the apertures are so low, it lets in so much light that it's really, really bright and the shot becomes too washed out. I use ND filters. So these are basically like glasses, but for your camera lens. I can like open this and close this and it lets in more or less light depending on how much light I need to let in. So whenever I do this and I'm like making the shot brighter, right? This is me playing around with the neutral density filter, the ND filter. If I take this off entirely, the shot is way too overexposed. I love the technicality of cameras. I loved learning how to use a DSLR. I used to film off of my Canon 600D. This is a very, very old camera. It doesn't have autofocus. It's bloody faulty and like there's so many things wrong with it, but this is what I used up until 1.5 years ago, I want to say. I used this camera far longer than I should have, but it really was the only camera I could afford to use at the time. I also have the Canon G7X, which is my vlogging camera. This one is great because it has a flip up screen, which means that if I'm out and about, if I'm vlogging, I can see what's in the shot really easily. This camera's been around for so many years. It is the like most well-known vlogger camera, and if you're starting out with YouTube, it's still a very, very good camera. Moving on to lighting. The best tip for filming YouTube videos has always been to sit in front of a window when you are filming. I don't even own studio lights. I've never ever purchased them. The sun is the most flattering light you're going to use basically. In addition to that, I do use 2 little lamps. I don't have multiple of this lamp. I just have the one and it gets carted around my apartment all the time. The second little lamp that I have is this guy. This lamp is from IKEA. This lamp was from Kmart. Both of them are very cheap. They're not expensive lamps, although I will say I use the vintage bulbs. So this is like a vintage bulb that I just bought from Kohl's. It's kind of expensive. It was like $15 for this bulb, but it lasts for a very long time. And then this one is like a vintage bulb that's specifically from IKEA. There's all this dust flying up now. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can make the lamp brighter or dimmer depending on what I need. What I have learned is that as long as you have some warm yellow light, and a nice quality lens on your camera, you can make anything look cozy and nice quality. You don't have to live in a fancy, expensive house to make your shot look really beautiful and nice and warm. You can buy a secondhand camera, a really, really old camera, whack a cheap 50mm lens on it, and then all of a sudden you have shots that look incredibly cinematic. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to make your shots look beautiful. You just have to be creative and use the tools that you have in creative ways. Moving along to audio. If you're using a DSLR or like a mirrorless camera like this, it's really important to invest in a little shotgun mic for your camera. Shotgun mic is basically the type of microphone that you actually stick on the camera and you plug in. If you plug in the microphone to your camera, it's much, much easier because your audio is automatically paired with your visuals. If you use an external camera, you need to then import the audio file into your editing software and then stitch it up bit by bit to make sure that it's actually matching every single video file that you have. So currently I use the Shure shotgun microphone. This works because I'm sitting only about 1 meter away from the camera. If you don't use a shotgun mic on a DSLR like this, generally when the autofocus is happening, you can hear the little clicking of the camera. When I'm filming a video in which I'm further away from the camera, I will use this Rode lapel mic. I will stick this end into my phone and then use my phone as the thing that's actually recording the audio. Now that I've upgraded my phone, I actually need to use the adapter to do that. But to buy the receiver it actually sticks into was like $300. I didn't want to do that, so I was like, nope, I'm just gonna record the audio off of my phone. For voiceovers, I use a Blue Yeti microphone. Pull this guy on this arm. Look at that, a fancy little microphone. I love this so much. So I just go to the sound recording app. Here we are. This is the quality of this microphone, which is a really nice quality microphone. And I also have it on this little arm here, which makes me feel like a fancy streamer. It is really convenient when I am actually playing games and I'm on Discord, because it means that not only do the sounds of my desk not get picked up on the recording, it means that my hands are free and I don't bump anything, so it's really good. And just like everything else I own, I got it in a Black Friday sale, so it was like 40% off or something. But this is a very good microphone that a lot of people use, so I do recommend it. Before I used to do this, I would actually get my camera, bring it into like our room through that door, and then I'd set up essentially a fort of pillows behind the camera and different soft things to absorb the additional sound, which basically just makes the audio sound a lot better. You want to reduce echo, and echo comes off of hard surfaces like this desk or this wall here. But now I get to sit at my desk. This is a really wonderful quality mic. Also, a very important point that I forgot to mention with this setup, with this camera, the M6 and the Shure microphone, because this camera has a flip up screen, the spot where the microphone is supposed to plug in is also on the top of the camera. So if you plug the microphone straight in and put it in the spot that it's supposed to be, you cannot use the flip up screen. I don't know why they did that. So what I did was I got a little rig that's basically screwed into the bottom of my camera so I can put the microphone on the side. I should say that when I take this camera out to vlog outside, like if I'm going to a cafe, I get rid of the microphone. It's just too bulky and obnoxious to bring around with me if I'm outside, and sometimes I get a little bit self-conscious when I'm filming. Anyway, I just wanted to add that there so that you guys don't think I'm carrying around this big huge setup when I go outside and vlog. Anyway, on to editing. I use Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects to edit my videos. I have some strong thoughts and feelings on Adobe. I think their software is absolutely amazing. I love their software to bits. I've been using Adobe's products since I was 14 when I started learning how to use Photoshop for my media class. And so that's 12 years of my life that I've been using Adobe's products. I just wish that the Creative Suite wasn't like $78 a month. So expensive, and they have a monopoly and they can just charge whatever they want, and I love their products, but it's so expensive. And look, I have tried other alternatives. I've tried Final Cut Pro, I've tried a whole bunch of other ones, but nothing works as well for me as Premiere Pro works. If you're starting out I do not recommend starting out with Premiere Pro. It's just too expensive. There's also a curious number of bugs with the program. I particularly love how easy it is to color grade on Premiere Pro. This is the shot without color grading. It makes everything look a little bit more cozy and pretty. Now again, if you guys are looking for an in-depth tutorial on video editing and color grading, I did pop one up on Patreon, but otherwise we're going to be moving on to music. This video is so in-depth to film. I'm already on to my second cup of tea. Music is so much more important than people really realize that it is. Like if you're making YouTube videos and your visuals are great and everything's wonderful, and then you just pick that one vlogging song that everyone used to use back in 2015, this one, all of a sudden your videos, like just the quality, the perception of quality rather, just drops significantly. There are definitely free options that you can use, like the YouTube music library. It's really important that you don't use copyrighted music. I feel everyone knows that by now, because if you upload a video with copyrighted music, it will be flagged. My very first video, which was the Lonely Houses painting, which no one can watch in Germany because it is banned in that country because it uses a song from San Cisco. I use a music service called Epidemic Sound. I don't really want to think about how many hours of my life I've spent trawling through the internet for music, finding songs that specifically fit what I'm looking for. I'm very particular about music. I'm very, very picky about music. Moving on to graphics and thumbnails, I will quickly jump back to Christy from the past. This is me setting up the thumbnail for this video. The reason why I take it first is because otherwise I will forget, and if I forget, then it's a disaster. Thumbnail photo is really important. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab some props. This is my old camera. I think the lighting's a little bit too dark. We'll make it a bit brighter. This is the thumbnail, hopefully. So smile. I will open this video file in VLC, and then I'll go to the little screenshot button and I'll just take a still, and that's the thing that I'm going to edit. Your thumbnail and title are the two most important things for getting people clicking on your video and for getting your video recommended to people. If you don't have a catchy title and thumbnail that people click on as soon as they see it, your video will plummet in terms of its views. I wish it wasn't so significant. I wish our videos could all shine based on the quality of the content, not the packaging, not the book cover, you know, but this is just how the algorithm works. And basically, if you're a YouTuber, if you're making content on this platform, you have to play the game the way the game wants to be played. I'll pull it onto my Samsung tablet. Lots of people seem to think that this is an iPad. It's not, it's a Samsung tablet. It is, I mean, it's currently showing my notes for this video, but this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7, I believe. That's the name of this tablet. It is amazing. It is so much cheaper than an iPad. My little drawings on my thumbnails, the titles, all of the little like animated fonts that I do in my videos, all of those are done on my tablet on Clip Studio Paint. In terms of planning videos, I have a spreadsheet. I have this really like big color-coded spreadsheet of all of the videos I'm planning on doing this year and all of the videos I've done so far this year. I also have another tab with like a list of 20 or 30 video ideas. Coming up with ideas is never the problem. The challenge with YouTube is essentially coming up with the types of ideas that people will definitely want to click on. And that's one of the things that's a bit exhausting with running a YouTube channel. It's like there's so many things that I'm excited about making and interested in making, but not all of them are the type of thing that is probably going to have a catchy thumbnail and title. In terms of inspiration, I watch a lot less booktube and writing content than you would think. And so a lot of my inspiration for my YouTube channel ends up coming from other areas. So it ends up coming from TV and film. I really love quirky movies that have interesting cinematography. Something I've really enjoyed watching recently is Only Murders in the Building. I think the cinematography of that show is really good. I love the set design. I love the color grading. I love some of the shots. I think the way they use graphics on that show is really cool. I love a lot of kids movies. I rewatched rewatched Paddington recently, and I was looking at how they did the vintage camera at the beginning. So I will tend to get ideas from different movies and TV in terms of how I want to set up shots and make things look visually. Other little tips I have: when you're filming, think very carefully about your angles, right? Generally, the cardinal rule is that you want your camera to be slightly above your eye level. So this is currently a little bit too low, but if you put it slightly above your eye level and tilt it down just a little bit, it's like the most flattering angle of your face. Something else to keep in mind, if you're using a wide angle lens, it will make your face look different because you have lens distortion. Aside from the fact that the image is flipped, it's one of the reasons why you look different in a mirror selfie, because you're using the back camera. It's so much further away from your face compared to the selfie camera, which is much closer to your face. Your features are going to look bigger the closer the lens is to your face. If you want to really avoid lens distortion, you probably want to go with like a 50mm lens and put it really far away from yourself. Sorry, someone's banging upstairs and it's really annoying. And then use a microphone closer to you. This video was only supposed to be 15 minutes long, but God knows it's going to be longer because that's the way I make things. And also, just a bit of a point of reference for people making videos. Where is my phone? 1:22 p.m. I started filming this video at 11 a.m. And in terms of editing, this is how long this video took to edit. This is how many hours this video took to make in total. The videos that I make are quite involved. I put a lot of effort into them. I spend a lot of time making them, but this is the way that my creative brain works, and this is the way that I know how to make the best videos that I can make. I wish my videos were easier. I wish they were less time consuming, but it's just not how I make videos. If I had a stronger marketing and business brain than a creative brain, basically what I would do would be to take my top 5 most popular videos and just repeat those videos over and over and over and over again. I can't do that because I get bored very easily. This channel has always been an amalgamation of everything I'm interested in, from Japan to books to writing to painting to video essays. It's always been a bit of a mess of different creative stuff, and for some reason you guys still enjoy my videos, and so that's a really wonderful thing. Oh, really quickly before I forget, we are going to be going on a trip to Japan in May 2023. We're going to be going to Tokyo, Kyoto and Osaka. We're going to be visiting all of these bookstores and going to amazing, beautiful places that I absolutely love. If you're interested in going to Japan, please click on the link in the description down below and check that out. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and also a huge thank you to everyone over on Patreon, because without those people supporting my work, I would not be able to make these videos. I wouldn't have the time to devote to making more and more complex and interesting videos, and I'm incredibly grateful to everyone over there who's supporting my work. We have a whole bunch of lovely bonus content, like bonus videos, behind the scenes stuff, writing updates. We do a whole lot of stuff over on Patreon. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you learned something from this. I hope this was interesting for you. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.